This is Luana D'Ameto, the drummer for Crypta, and you're watching Richard Metalfan.
Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2021 album review. And today we're going to be looking into, well, one of my most anticipated releases of the year. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about the debut album from the new band Crypta entitled Echoes of the Soul, which was released today under Napalm Records. Now, for those of you who don't know who Crypta are, they're sort of like a new band. I guess a lot of people consider them a supergroup, which features Fernanda Lira, who she was the former bassist and vocalist for Nervosa, as well as their drummer Luana D'Ameto. Um, yeah, and after they left in near the beginning of 2020. Yeah, apparently Crypta had formed it in 2019, but this is the first time we ever heard of them probably until about a couple months ago. And joining Fernanda and Luana, we got Sonia Anubis. She's from the Netherlands, and she also played in Cobra Spell and Burning Witches. And then they got another guitarist, Tayana Bergamashi. I probably butchered her name. So yeah, they're sort of like mostly three of the members are from Brazil, and then Sonia is of course from the Netherlands. And then it wasn't until a couple months ago they released their debut single, goal called "From the Ashes," and I remember first hearing that song, and I was like hooked right from the get go. And I definitely did. They definitely did not disappoint. I just think that the ladies did really well, and now we have their debut full length album, and wow, what can I say? I think this is a pretty great way to kick off their careers, their new beginning. Let's just talk about just the production is just superb. It kind of has just like almost kind of classic sounding death metal sound compared to like stuff from like the 90s or probably early 2000s. Um, and just the vocals, like Fernanda, like I remember hearing her in Nervosa. She had like that thrashiness, but I feel like with Crypta, I feel like she has definitely has some different stuff. She has can go like really low, and she has like those high kind of like shrieks. So when she does like her high vocals, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Chuck Schuldiner from Death, rest in peace. And just the way to describe this album, it kind of like is a mixture of kind of like how imagine if you had Tomb of the Mutilated by Cannibal Corpse mixed with At the Gates, The Slaughter of the Soul, with mixing with like Symbolic or Sound of Perseverance by Death, and the results you get Echoes of the Soul. And just the guitar work, I mean, Sonia and Tayana as guitar playing just really complements each other. Just both riffs that the ladies come up with are great, and just the soloing and leads is fantastic. The bass is pretty audible. Definitely, Fernanda really stepped up her bass playing, and the drumming from Luana. I feel like Luana's drumming is superb. She does like a lot of like blast beats and just fast shit. So yeah, let's just dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Awakening, which is a pretty good intro, and it feels like something from like a horror movie. It pretty much sets the whole mood and sort of like the vibe, or pretty much what we're gonna expect for this album. And then we lead into the next song, going into Starvation. Now, this is some high quality death metal right here. It feels like kind of like a mixture of as if like Death and Morbid Angel had a child, and the results being the song Starvation. And this is pretty much some of the best modern death metal that I've heard yet. It's intense and strong, and it's a direct type of song. It also combines a little bit of like melody, especially in like the solo section, which has like some strong riffing throughout, which just keeps you pumped. And boy, this is a really good song. Great way to start things off. And then we go into Possessed. Now, Possessed, this is a really fast track, and this song almost kind of has a little bit of a black metal influences thrown in there, especially in like Fernanda's kind of like high is a little bit, and especially like the tremolo picking riffs, and I also feel like there's also some technical moments on here, especially in the musicianship. Next song is Death Acrania. Now compared to what we've heard so far, now this pretty much starts a little bit slower, and especially goes into sort of like that classic death metal direction that was known in the 90s. And I think that's a pretty good way, like pulling back a little bit, but definitely trying to still keep the whole flow, just keep the whole momentum going. Then we move on to Shadow Within. Now this is a really great song to listen to, especially because of sort of like the great chorus, which has a great technical feeling and just some simple rhythms, and then Luana's drumming, which she used blast beats, which gets really well, and it's really great, especially for like the musical style that Crypta wants to do. And then we move on to Under the Black Wings. Now this pretty much has like the simple rhythms that are kind of showing to almost kind of like their thrashier side, kind of like how Fernanda and Luana were in Nervosa, which are more thrashy, but also still has like, that death metal style that Crypta are doing now. There you go into Cali. Now the Cali is like a fairly strong and flashy that pretty much stands out above like the rest of the songs in terms of both the musical structure and the chorus. And then we get to Bloodstained Heritage. It has a really great blast beat, and I especially love like the rhythm, them especially in the drumming, and then the riffs have like just the riffs. Like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just this album is just really great so far. It just hasn't let up at all. Oh, and I think it's just great. And then let's just talk about the last two songs. We go into Dark Night of the Soul. Boy, I just think this is another great song. And I think it's just perfect. And then we close with From the Ashes, which was the first song or single that we heard from this song. And boy, I remember first hearing this song, I was not disappointed. It's heavy, but also has a lot of melody in the guitar work. And Fernanda just also has some really sick vocals going from like the deep growls to the high shrieks. And I think it's a really strong way to end this album. Now overall, well, Echoes of the Soul by Crypta, great way to kick off this new career for a new band, and these ladies definitely have some hype, definitely have a lot of potential, and I definitely was really impressed. So if I'm gonna give this album a score, I'm gonna give Echoes of the Soul by Crypta a solid 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Crypta's debut album, guys, and I'm hopefully when this bullshit pandemic is over, I really would hope that they would come and tour in the US. So that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal. Arigato.